One of the biggest things I've learned from doing this over the years, from sitting across the table from real families, is that experience teaches you something that textbooks certainly cannot. After thousands of conversations, you start to notice patterns. You start to see the same mistakes show up. And none of these people are dumb. They're not irresponsible. They're just getting advice from someone who hasn't put in the hour. Let me give you a few examples. Mistake number 1, falling for something that sounds too good to be true. This is one mistake I see all the time. People listening to a friend or a family member who says, oh yeah, you can make whatever interest rate per year, no problem. And it's no risk. I'm just going to tell you, if someone is promising you unusually high returns with no risk, you need to slow down. Because in the real world, when something sounds too good to be true, it almost always is. Mistake number 2, draining your retirement money to pay off a house. People have told me they're going to cash out a chunk of their 401k and pay off their house. You know, not every situation is bad and someone wants to pay off their house, but like right when you retire, that's a critical time. You have a lot of changes going on. And unless they have a lot of other money, it doesn't always make sense. But if they take a chunk out of their 401k and they pay off their house, yes, that will pay off their house. But they could have put that money into something to generate a guaranteed income stream for life or something else. Because it's hard to make money in America. It's not easy. And so to build up that 401k takes lots of discipline, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. So I just would be cautious before doing that. You know, it just depends on the interest rate, everything. But I think there's a lot of people online telling people to pay off their house, and I'm sure it feels good. Having a mortgage is not the absolute end of the world, in my opinion there. Of course, every situation is different, but that's just something I just wanted people to be mindful of. Mistake number 3 is, again, this relates to friends or coworkers that are not financial advisors. These people will listen to their friends or coworkers that tell them just to put everything in an S&P 500 fund. And we know there's online influencers who think that is the answer to everything. And it's simply not. Typically, when this happens, when someone has gone online and they have listened to that voice, their money is way too aggressive for their situation. They'll put their money in the S&P 500 fund because they heard that, someone's recommending it online. That's not good for everybody, y'all. It's just not, especially when you've just retired. Those can make a lot of money, the S&P 500. And it's good for a certain time of your life when you're growing, you're well in that stage in life. But once you get to retirement, things change. So putting your money into an S&P 500 mutual fund, which is what it is, it could drop 30% in a year. And so that's what I see a lot of times is that. And the S&P 500 is great, but when you retire, you can think about an indexed annuity. And to me, that would be a much more suitable recommendation for someone who's retired. And it just depends on their situation. Again, everybody's different, but it's just really looking at if somebody's giving you advice, and there are a lot of people out there that are online, just a lot of information. Everyone's overwhelmed, but if what they tell you is too good to be true, just say, okay, thank you, and just move on. There's a good quote that said, if investing is fun, but you're enjoying it, then you're doing it wrong. Because investing is boring. It's not something that should be really exciting. Like if you're buying stocks, see how much you made, whatever you lost. That's entertainment. If that's how you're feeling, it's probably not the best situation for your financial future. So that's something definitely to think about. Whenever you are at the point where you don't have to worry about groceries, you don't have to worry about income, and you're set in retirement, sure, put your money in individual stocks, play in the stock market with your whole 401k, or listening to blanket advice from online professionals who really recommend the S&P 500 is not always the best thing. And again, more often than not, when people do listen to those voices, it's just way too aggressive for where they are in life. But basically, the foundation of all of your investments should be boring. It should not be something exciting or fun or like watching it excited. No, that should not be it. So my job mainly isn't to help people get rich. My job is to help people not lose their money in retirement or make bad decisions. That's how we help them. And just also, it's a big responsibility of people. Here's your 401k. Now you have to let that last your whole life. So we help people with strategies that help them not outlive their money. Thanks, y'all.